Okay, so we're live and welcome. I hope that you're going to enjoy the session. Have you ever had a problem where you start a goal, but for some crazy reason, you know it's important, you know that you want it, you know that it's that you should get it, but for some reason or the other, down the line, you lose your momentum and your energy and stuff like that. If that is the case, and this happened to me when I started developing this process, at that point in my life, I I found a way that I want to share with you today, and you can use this in your personal development in order to get to the power goal, to become the person that you need to be and want to be in order to make that goal a reality. But at the same time, you can use it in your profession, in your business, in your job at the same time. So please let me know where you're from, and then today we're going to look at power goals, how to use the point game to put your power goals on steroids. Now, what do I mean with that? In the point game is part of the power goal method, and the power goal method is a methodology that I developed in order to make sure that those dreams, those goals that are unrealistic and that sounds like it is impossible that you'll never be able to get it, to make those goals a reality. And you do that by make it a game, and then to do it on a day-to-day basis. The problem that we've got is on a day-to-day basis, things are becoming boring unless we can make it a way in order to get it, exciting and fun. And this is what I'm going to show you today. So, Sigmund, hello. Thank you for that, Hannes. I appreciate that honorary title. Jennifer from Cape Town. Hello, Jennifer. And then let's really start getting into uh, this. Now, let me show you something. And I see one of the things I want to give a lot of value today. So when we look at this as an example, Magda says, good morning, Lilu. I've paid the money for the power goal. What's the next step that we can take? And this is part of that next step that we need to take. The method has got, let's call it, four elements to it, four parts to it. But there's a missing link. And it's a missing link that I see that my students sometimes do not pick up how to combine this with real life. Okay. So first of all, we always start with the quantum awakening. The quantum awakening is the psychology. What is going on in our minds, our mindsets, our belief systems? Why do we do the stuff that we do and not getting the results? Or why do we do stuff that we know is going to give us the result, but then we don't do it? So we start with something, but we don't see it through. And for that, we need to get this, I can almost say, the mindsets and the belief systems right. Once we're done with that, now we can set the power goals. So that's the second part. That's the book and the workbook and the cheat sheet and the Excel spreadsheet and everything that goes with it. This is to set your goal. But now you've set your goal. But if we really think about it, at this point in time, this goal is only in our mind. It's not in our heart. So it's our heart that calls. That's why we call it a quantum awakening. Our heart wants this thing. And that want is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. And initially we are a little bit confused about this because we think we want a house, or we want a great relationship, or we want to get the body right, or we want to become fit, or we want, but that is just the calling, right? That is where the awakening happens. Someone sounds the alarm. Ourselves in the fifth quantum, we sound the alarm. Listen, wake up. You need to change. You can't get that you want by being where you are and staying where you are. You have to breach that. And this is why we say in the Wealth Creators University and method is the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. So that intelligence is, now I have to develop a plan. I have to say, okay, but with this that I know, how on earth can I use this in order to get to my goal that I want? And that process, that mental process, that is actually the quantum awakening. Perhaps let me share with you a little additional. Hello, Marius from Virginia. I like that. From William. Uh, email Cape, so I assume it's Cape, and David. Thank you. Also from Acacia. I'm in Acacia, so we are sitting close to each other. Right. So when I started my mentoring story, right, that was way back in 2002. First, I developed the property program. Well, that was in '87, but I started teaching. And the function of a mentor is to condense over many, many years and all the mistakes that we've made, condense it so that you can literally in a very short time get the results. So there's the Pareto principle. And Pareto, Italian, he looked at his garden. That's where he's a financial guy, but he looked at the garden and he saw that 80% of the plants only give 20% of the crop. And then he thought, okay, but what about the 20%? So when he looked at the 20%, that 20% gave 80% of the crop. And then he wanted to know, but in industry and other places, is that same principle, does it apply? And he discovered that it does. So when I started, I condensed for myself in '87 on the Property Pro program, I condensed it down to that I need to know the 20% that's going to give me 80% result. So 20%, that's let's call it the input that I need, but I want to get an 80% result. And then I started building the Wealth Creators University around that. But Laura came to me because I've got another principle, and I'm teaching my children this stuff. And I've said that the trick is actually to take the 20% of the 20%. In other words, 4%, because we want to get the results. And this is where the PowerPoint game comes from. We want to get the results, and we want to get it very, very quickly, because that's going to give us the feeling of success, and success breeds success. That means that if we take 20% of 20% is 4%, and 80% of 80% is 64%. Now, 64% is incredible if you take into consideration that the average person, in terms of knowledge, is going to do 80% of the work to get only a 20% result, right? So, and then you can break that down. And this is where Laura came in and she said that, but can't we take the Property Pro mentoring program and condense that into the 4% to get the results? And then she started with the from startup to income, and I started with the Wealth Creators method mentoring based on that concept. But when I started with the PowerGoals is basically everything, right? It's the full university. And then I sat down and I said, but why don't we break it down from the 4%, 20% of 4% is 0.8%, and 80% of 64% is about 52, 51%. Right. So we can literally see that 1% of the information that we need in order to make an informed decision is going to give us like a 55%. And that is going to give us results very, very quickly. And this is where the quantum awakening comes in. So the quantum awakening is actually the first 13 weeks of the Wealth Creators method. And that is part of the Wealth Creators development program. So it depends on how much you want to know, because sometimes it's not necessarily to know the 20% to get the 80% result, because once you understand how it works, some of the stuff you can delegate to other people. So we want to speed up this process, this Power Goal process, in tremendous, right? And this is exactly how this plan is. So the quantum awakening is to put you in the right frame of mind, in the right state of mind, so that you can immediately say, hey, but I am getting results, because that's what we want. So you first do the quantum awakening, right? Magda and the rest. The second thing is, now for the first time you start setting your power goal. Now, why is the sequence important? Because what is it to be successful, and how do you become successful? Success, according to Earl Nightingale, is a progressive realization of a worthy goal. In other words, that worthy goal is your power goal. Unless it's a worthy goal, everything that you want in life is actually a goal. But if that can't help you to get to your end goal, to the goal, your power goal, what use is it to waste your time and your energy in trying to do something that is not going to come from your heart, that is not your power goal, this unrealistic, audacious, incredible goal that is burning within you, your voice that needs to come out. So anything that has got nothing to do with that, I don't want to waste my time on that. Right. So the moment that you've got your goal and you know why it is, Now I can go through the process. So if you just have the free ebook, you're not going to get the results, because stats tells us that less than 5% of people that get a free ebook will actually read the ebook. Less than 5%. And that's not why I wrote that book. And that's not why I developed this program for myself way back in 84, 85. 87, everything started to get the momentum. So I want you to do this, and this is why I developed this method. So if you go through it, the chances are, uh, I haven't got the stats, so I can't tell you, but I think the chances are at least 500% more that you're going to set your power goal. But once you've set your power goal, now there's a missing link, because the next part that you've got is the point game. And then from there, the 91 day. Okay, so what's the missing link? That missing link is to incorporate every single thing. If you read a book, you need to incorporate that in your power goal, because unless this book is going to help you to get your power goal, you're wasting your time. If you listen to this lesson today, this training session, and it can't help you to get your power goal, you're wasting your time. You should not be listening to this. So a seminar, a webinar, a book, any course, you need to get the right frame of mind before you start with that, in order to get to help you to get to your goal. Right. So I really hope that you've got it. Hello, Ricardo, and welcome. Right. Now, this is where the point game comes in. So the point game, what I've seen was that my life was up and down in the beginning. You know, some days everything works according to plan. I'm in flow, and other days there's nothing. There's no energy. There's no clients to see. I don't feel in the morning like doing the exercises and go through the meditation and all of that stuff. And I had to find a way around this. And this is where the point game comes in. Now, I'm going to show you something today that will blow your mind away the moment that you understand it. Right. Remember, we start condensing everything, right? So that we can start getting results. So the trick is, on a day-to-day basis, I want to have perfect days. And you can apply this in two areas: in the personal development in order to get to the goal, but also in your job or your profession or your business, if you've got one, or your investment. But in terms of your personal growth, this is what I want to share with you today, and show you how to apply that, and apply that by the end of this training session. You'll be able to start applying that. So the way that I do it is, I see what is my end goal, right? I know my power goal. And then in the morning, I sit down, intelligent use of limited resources, and I say, okay, what is it that I need to learn? In other words, what competency do I need to add today in order to make sure that this competency is going to help me to get to my power goal? That means that, first of all, I'm going to do research and development, and I'm going to learn. Right. So for the learning part, remember, I'm going to set up this goal so that I can win. I want a perfect day. And I see some of my students make it from the beginning damn difficult for themselves to succeed. Why do I want to succeed? Success is a progressive realization of a worthy goal. I have to be successful. I need to feel successful. Why? Simply because of our classes of experience that we'll learn in the Quantum Awakening. A class 1 experience is when it feels good, when you do it, it's good for you, it's good for others, and it's good for the greater good. A class 2 experience is where the problem comes in. It does not feel good while you're doing it, but you know it's good for you, good for others, and good for the greater good. Class 3 experience feels good, but it's not good for you, good for the others, and good for the greater good. And a class 4 experience does not even feel good while you're doing it, but yet we do it, and it's not good for you, others, and the greater good. So the trick is, typically when we start moving towards our goal, that bridge, we are going to be out of our comfort zone the whole time. We are going to be out of the comfort zone, which simply means that we'll never feel good, right? And I wanted to find a way where I can feel good irrespective, because I know that it's the progressive realization. In other words, if I take one step, if I'm 1% closer to my goal, if I'm 0.25% closer to my goal, I know that I'm moving in the right direction. And then I can measure that, I can manage it the moment that I start seeing results. Results can be positive or negative. Both results are brilliant because if it's positive, I accelerate according to the formula for riches. And if it's negative, in other words, I'm not getting the results that I wanted, now I can come back. I know that it's in terms of my leverage, in terms of my skills, there's a dysfunctional problem. I need to sort that out, and that's going to speed up the whole process. I hope that you're with me. Right. So if you're with me and you like what you're hearing, just give me a one. And if you look at the later stage at this, also give me one so that I can just see. We haven't got a lot of people on, but I know afterwards there's going to be a lot of people that's going to, and I really and truly want to add immense value to you. Right, so I don't see any ones at this stage. I'm going to carry on. Maybe the lines, there we come. Ricardo, thank you for the one, and thank you for that. Now, here is where the trick comes in. So if I learn something that's going to help me, I'm going to give me in my personal, thank you for the rest. Thank you, Leon, also, and welcome here. I'm going to give myself 10 points. Right, so and I'm going to show you how to incorporate any course, any book, anything that you are busy that's going to help you, all the Wealth Creators University courses, how you can use it. But not only this, any book that you, any course that you do, maybe you're on a spiritual, maybe you want to incorporate the Bible or the Quran or whatever you want. All of that you can incorporate in the way that I'm going to share with you. Thank you, Gordon, and welcome. And Marius, lucky to see you guys. Right, so here's how it works. So 10% for 10 points for that. And remember, I'm showing now the personal development, this to transform, to get to my goal. This is what I'm busy sharing with you. So my life has got two parts. The growth part that normally happens very early in the morning, and then the work day and the rest of the things that I have to do. So I'm talking about this. Now, that means nothing because everyone starts and they learn and they learn. If they can't apply this, it means zilts. You've wasted your time. So as soon as I learn something, I want to implement it. The moment that I can prove that I can do it, remember, it's not that I know it. No, knowledge means nothing. It's information. I need to know that I can do it. The moment that I can show myself that I can do it, I'm doubling my points. But now it's not my minimum point, that's bonus points. Why is that important? Because the learning part is the easy part. And by doing that, and sometimes I won't be able to apply. Sometimes it takes a couple of days before you can actually apply. But I want to get to the minimum so that I can have a perfect day in that area at the end of the day. I hope that you're with me. Right. Now, double the points. Right. So what is it that I've done? Immediately, the moment that I get to my point, I've done what I was supposed to do for the day. That means I've got a perfect day. But not only do I have a perfect day, I've learned, which is the fifth need. So the fifth need I've satisfied. Now, that is half of the story. The moment that I can do it, I know how to do it. Now, it's not I hope, now I know. In other words, now I've got the competency because I can prove it. I can show you the results. And the results, competency is skills, applied knowledge, and experience. So by doing that, I'm fulfilling all three of this, and therefore I'm doubling my points, but it's bonus points. And now the beauty about this is the fifth need. What's the sixth need? Right? The sixth need is to contribute. So what do? I want to give back and help. Why? Because my main purpose is to increase my energy level. Because if my energy level increases, the consciousness, I help the consciousness to rise. As soon as the consciousness rise, guess what? All people starts to rise. The whole universe, everyone. So, and that's the only thing that I've got control over. But the moment that I want to do that and I understand something, now I want to contribute. I want to share because that's the sixth need. So now I start showing Tanya and I show my children. And if they understand this whole thing, then I'm going to the community, to society, and I start teaching this to them. Because this is the people, if you've got this, it's amazing. We are in this world of scarcity and limitation. It's not the truth. We need to get that out of our mind. It's a world of abundance, and our job is to help other people to experience that abundance and to get out of this limitation mindset as quickly as possible, because that is the only way how we can increase the consciousness of the human race, of mankind. Okay, so that's what we need to do, and that's why we contribute, we start. But here's the trick. The moment I use money, 99% of the time, I use money as my measurement, as my tool. It's got nothing to do with money. Now, when I contribute, I'm adding value to other people. And the only way that I can really see that value is if that person is willing to pay for that, because money always flows from a lower to a higher value, always from a lower to a higher value. The money in your pocket, if you value that more than the course or the book or the seminar or the fun that you want or the car, you're going to keep it here. But the moment that that thing becomes more valuable, at least in your perception, now I'm going to take the money out of my pocket and I'm going to buy that thing. So I'm buying solving a problem. So the moment that I buy the thing that's going to solve me a problem, the person that presented that thing to me has added value. I hope that you see this. And it's a very important concept that we need to get, because if I can start adding value to you, I need to find a way to measure my results, because unless I can measure it, I cannot manage it. So I have to measure the result to see if I'm on the right track or the wrong track. Now, there are different ways that we can measure it, but this is in business one of the ways that I've used. Right or wrong, remember, it's your game, you play the game, you do what is best for you. I'm sharing you with what I've done, what worked for me, and hopefully that's going to work for you. Okay, now, the moment that someone applies that, in other words, where they pay me, I'm immediately doubling my 20 points. So it's 10 points for doing, learning, it's 20 points for doing, and it's 40 points for sharing. Can you see where I'm going with this? Now, remember, these are bonus points. So my goal was to get 10 points. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me see if I can go there. Where are we? There we are. And let me go to this one. A while ago, about 3 or 4 days ago, I developed, I discovered a little program, CRISP, right? It's affiliate program. And the trick about this program is simply this. I just want to get back. I'll get there just now. It's a part of what I'm doing at the moment. I'm learning YouTube marketing. Now, I'll show you now. I've got something like 600 plus 600 videos, but we get confused because just because you do something does not mean that you can make money with it. It's like, yeah, I know how it works. No, I don't know. If I can't get the results that I want, I don't know how it works. So I've got more than 600 videos on. But like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I decided that I'm going to get into affiliate marketing, one of the things that I'm learning is Facebook. I've got a whole Facebook course. I know how Facebook works for average things, but I do not know how it works for affiliate marketing. Therefore, it's a skill. Oh, the same with YouTube. I do not know how YouTube works for this that I want to get the result. And for that reason, I started learning. One of the things that I need to learn is, but how do I get good sound and good quality visual? Right. I had to learn this and I had to apply it. Now, on the sound, I sat with this serious problem because if the dog bark and I do a recording, then it's basically I have to do editing and I hate editing. I don't like to do that. So I started the research to see, isn't there a tool? And this is what I found. I found this little tool. And as soon as I found that little tool, there's an affiliate marketing attached to it. And then I started sharing the link. And guess what happens the moment that that happens? There are all the people that downloaded it. But now I want to show you real magic. I want to show you something. You see, 90% of people will not implement because they simply do not know this information. So all those people that downloaded, that I can see that they've downloaded, right? I'm not going to give myself bonus points for that. Why not? Because I haven't done it. I want them to take action, not only to download that little thing, but to implement it. In other words, to activate it, because only then will they start seeing the power. Now, I'm giving through this system, it's not mine, through this system, I'm giving them a month of the pro version for free, right? Plus, on top of that, I'm getting 2 months just because I added value. Isn't this what it's all about? Can you see what happens? Now, let's go back and let me show you. So immediately I can see that because of that, there's 2 months that I got for free because of this person. Thank you very much. Because of this person, another 2 months. Because of this person, another 2 months. Because of this person, another 2 months. I hope that you see how the universe works. And this is a stupid example, but this is really how life works. The moment that you give, you cannot ever give more than what's going to come back to you, because it's just a universal principle. Not always in the same day, not always in the same month, but already what is there? There's about four or six or four. I think there's four. Okay, so how many points did I accumulated? Well, it's 160 points plus the 20 points plus the 10 points. What it gives us 190 points. Now, will you say that if you are supposed to get 10 points and now suddenly you're getting 190 points, can you see how you speed up this process? Success breeds success. It's a progressive realization of a worthy goal, right? But that means I need to get the right information, right order for the level of the game. I know exactly what I want. This is supplement. And in the process, I use the point gain in order not only to get to the minimum so that I can say that I've got a perfect day, but every single day of my life is more than perfect. And this is what I want for you. I want you to have an incredible life, because we were born to have that life. And a simple thing like this has changed my life, and therefore I've included this as a part of the course. In other words, this is how I run my life. Now, let me show you something else, if I can, and let me see if I can go there. I need to go. Let's go to YouTube. This is my YouTube channel. As you can see there, there's 625 videos that I've got. Most people will say, yeah, I know how Facebook works. The moment that I become aware that this is what I need in order to get to my goal, let me quickly show you. For the last 3 weeks, this is what's busy happening with me. Because I've done this and I can show you the results, there's an 866% growth in terms of my views. There's a 2,509%. I hope that you can see it. I need to get this just a moment. But that's not what I want. There we are. Now you can see it. It's 2,509% growth. The watch time, 1,612% growth in terms of that. The money that I've made because of this, the money that I've made because of the Facebook is, I can actually tell you, let me see, I need to go to Excel spreadsheet. It's 118,000 Rand directly because of organic, in other words, free sessions like this. 118,000 in terms of affiliate marketing that I can directly relate to YouTube. Now, don't you think that is important, that we have to find a way? But now, because I'm gamify this process, I'm not only getting immense satisfaction and growth, but I'm also contributing, I'm adding value to other people, and by adding value to other people, I'm becoming richer, which is going to help me financially to get to my power goal. I hope that you've got it. Now, there's something else that I'd like to show you, if I may. Is there anyone that wants to learn how to incorporate courses? Any course. I'm going to show you one of the courses at Wealth Creators University, simply because someone asked 2 or 3 days ago. Their power goal is to become financially debt-free. That's their power goal. Can I show you how you can use a course and break that down? And yeah, say me if you want to, or yeah, say me or yes, and then I know that I can show you the process. people, if you're going to understand this, your life is going to change. I hope so. So let me see. At the moment, it's only Jennifer that says absolutely and me. There's a couple of people on. And then let me show you. Jennifer, I'm going to show you this only. Okay, Ricardo, yes. Okay, so it's for Jennifer and Ricardo and for Leon. Okay, I'll do it now for 3. Okay, and William from Cape, I'll do it for you and for the rest and for everyone. And it's Mahala, it's free. It's why? Because if your life changes, you're going to change the life of yourself. And there's Marius and Gordon. And secondly, you're going to change your family's life. And thirdly, you're going to change the community and society. And thank you, David. And thank you, Jan. And thank you, Sigmund. And thank you, every single person that's going to listen to this and react, even if it's after the time. I'm going to take this. Yesterday, I tried to do this, and I could not on Facebook there. My line speed was apparently too slow. And therefore, I'm redoing it on today. Simply because I said to Tanya, I can't, people need to know this information because when I read, I can see that they need this information. Okay, so where are we? Let's go to the Wealth Creators portal. I need to switch over here quickly, just a moment. Right, there's the debt eradication. Now remember, this is not only this, any course. Remember, we need to think. It's the intelligent use of limited resources. What's the one thing that can help me the quickest way with the least amount of risk to get to my goal? So let's incorporate this debt eradication course. And the first thing that I do before I start reading a book or reading doing a course, I want to get the big picture. In other words, I want to see quickly, is this thing normally, how's it going to help me? And then I want to incorporate that as part of my point game. Because remember, I have to learn to grow, fitly, and then I have to implement it because otherwise I haven't learned anything. And then I want to give back. Now, with the debt eradication course that I told a lot of friends those days, that was the debt eradication course actually comes from 1984. But when I started teaching, and I've made millions out of this course. Just this course. Why? Because of the immense value that you can get by doing this course. Right. So, yes, how it's going to work. So, the first thing that I want to do is I want to get an overview. So, we see there's a manual, there's spreadsheets, a PDF, that's going to be a workbook. So, I'm going to download that after I've read the stuff. And then we see there's a course overview, and there's a module 1, and module 3, and module 4, and module 5. Right. Now, I've got the baseline. So, there are 5 modules. So can you see that now I can start planning? Intelligent use of limited resources. So my goal for today may be just to plan and to get a basic plan to execute. And that can be 10 points. Or I can say, okay, I'm going to at least do the introduction because the introduction is now part of module 1. And then I can do it over a 5-day period. Now, the way that we do it at the Wealth Creators University, let me get there that I can show you. This lesson is 9 minutes, right? That lesson is 9 minutes, 5 minutes, right? I'm not sure where we are. Okay, that was lesson 4. I don't want to go there. Right, so I can break it down. Do I have 11 minutes maximum per day, 10 minutes maximum on a day basis to be able to do this? This one is tough, 50 minutes, right? So I hope that you can see 50 minutes. Right, so now I can start to say, but Hannes, how am I going to do this in 5 days? Or how many courses are there? How many, let me get back there. So we can see this lesson 1 up to lesson, what's that, 44. So just by doing that, I can start planning and say, over the next 44 days, I'm going to do a lesson. Even if it's a 3-minute lesson, even if it's a 5-minute lesson, this is what I'm going to get, right? Basic points, 10 points for each and every lesson. And I document that in the point game. The second thing that I do is remember, if I implement anything that I've learned, I'm going to double my points, but that is bonus points. And if I can share that with my family and get them together in order that we can work towards a specific goal, I'm going to give myself another 40 points for doing that. The moment that we've got our spreadsheets and our bank statements, and Tanya and myself sit together and we say, let's start this process. This is the power of how you do it. But it's up to you. So some people is going to say 44 days. Other people may say, my minimum for this course is 44 days at 10 points per day. But then if they've got more time during the day, they can start accumulating points, because now we speed up the process. So instead of maybe 44 days, maybe they can do it in 22 days, and the basic points will double. And then, of course, with the bonus points, it's going to more than double. And literally, people, what I'm sharing with you is how I got to the top of the table in the world, the top 1%, in the top 1% in my job, in my business, right, that I've run at that point in time. And I've worked for only 194 days in the 194 days and 196 days the previous year that I've been in the top of the table, the top 1% of the top 1%, as well as the top 25 in South Africa. But that wasn't the trick. That was the outcome of the business side, because I had to become the person that could be and was a top of the table producer. Can you see? Two parts. We focus on one area most of the time, the business. No, this was the most important part. That part, the skill sets. I had to learn about sales. I had to learn about the products. I had to learn about a tax, advanced tax law that I've done for a year. I've learned about advanced trust, right, that I've learned to be able to incorporate all of this, and then I execute. But this part, this in the morning, the exercises that I'm doing in the morning, the spiritual, or the let's call it the spiritual rituals that I've got, and it's got nothing to do with the religion, right? It's spiritual practices that I've got. That is separate. This is my personal development, my personal program that I follow. In the Wealth Creators University, we've got a course just on that development. And I see that people don't get it because they're overwhelmed. They see all these courses. Where do I start? Now, you start with one and you incorporate, you understand that this is where I need to start. And you start with the basics. And then as you grow, you can start to accumulate a little bit more and more and more. I hope that this really that is beneficial. I'm going to make a recording like this, and then I'm also going to put this. This is on YouTube, but I'll put the recording on the Facebook PowerGoals group so that everyone, and then tell your friends about it. I'm not going to put it in the community as such. I'm going to put it in where everyone can see it, because I do believe that this information, if you are part of the affiliate marketing, this may be a wonderful way to get people to start with this process. In other words, to get them in your funnel so that you can start, whenever they decide to upgrade, that you can start getting some affiliate fees on that. Right. So if you do have any questions at this point in time, please let me know. That's going to be, if there's something that is missing or something that you don't get or something that you think that I can help. I quickly want to run through it. Right, Jennifer, fabulous. Gita, right, wash hands. My hands are clean, right? And then Jennifer, daily affirmations. Daily affirmations, I don't place a very, very high priority on my daily affirmations. Now, nothing wrong with it, Jennifer. If it works, it is incredible, and carry on. And you can literally, for that daily affirmation, you can give yourself points, like 10 points. But the trick is, you'll see in the 91 Perfect Day Challenge, I'm going to bring in that instead of a daily affirmation, I've got a very, very small lesson, like 5 to 10 minutes per day. And that lesson is going to tell you a trait that I've worked on. Now, I've got more than 300 of these traits. I'm only sharing 91 of those traits in terms of, this first 91 days. Right. So what I've done, I've said, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on today. Remember, to learn something, that's the 5 minutes that I'm going to spend. First, give me an overview, and then what is it that I've learned today, and then how can I incorporate that? So 10 points for them, and I use that as the mental side. So 10 points for that, but if I can implement it, every time that I implement it during the day, 20 points, 20 points, 20 points, 20 points. Because now I become, Jennifer, aware of this. A daily affirmation, I see people go through this, and in the beginning, I've tried affirmations. And after the fifth time, you literally look over it. You say it, but it's got no emotional attachment. It's got no practical, for me. I'm not saying for you, Jennifer. I'm talking about myself. And I see Laura has done exactly the same thing. She tried this affirmation, she tried a vision board, and then eventually she got back to where she can start giving results. The same with Carla. You know, it's incredible. So once you're in the 91, now where does the 91 day fit in? So once I've said this, now I have to plan my day. So I'm following the mental, and I try. And by the way, Jennifer, no, Jennifer Manuela, I don't see her yet. She's on the on the method. The moment that you get for the first 91 days, I'm just trying to cram in that 4% so that you understand the process. The second part, I start the execution of the 91 days, and I'm going to do it 3 times during the method. But each and every time, I'm going to show you how I've implemented and how I twisted in order to get the maximum. And then also how I'm sharing that and helping other people so that I can get more points. I hope that you've got that. Right. Now, please be careful. Anything that works for you, right? If that is working, you accelerate that and you find out, but how can I incorporate, Jennifer, my affirmations to get even more value from this point game? So you include that in your game, right? And it becomes part of your game. And now you have to say, but where does it fit? Does it fit into the mental side? As an example, does it fit into, is it spiritual affirmations? What kind of affirmation? Or is it uplifting so that I can use it as motivation or inspiration that can be spiritual? Actually, everything is spiritual, by the way. Everything is spiritual. But we try to class it in compartments, which I think is not always right. But whatever works for you, continue with that. I don't want you to change something, but if there's something better, start slowly to see. But does this not work? Or by the way, in YouTube, I'm going to open a channel. I had at one point I had a 91-day challenge where I've incorporated not what is in the method, but I've incorporated some of the other stuff as well as what's in the method. And you, if you, I'm going to put it in a playlist. At the moment, you have to look for it. All right. And then start at day one. And maybe without joining the method, just start on a day-to-day. The lessons there is not, because there's a lot of practical stuff and stuff that I share. It's not condensed to these 3 to 5 minute sessions, which I think is very, very important. But there I'm showing people and I'm sharing what's going on in my mind and how it works. And so I hope that can help. Anything else? Jennifer says self-worth, great. Please, if you think that you can share with people, if you think that, let me ask you a question. Was this value, and can you add this to you? So if you think it's valuable, just give me a 2. And if you think that you can implement, or you're going to start with a PowerPoint game as soon as you, don't do the game before you've actually got your power goal, right? Give me a 3. So maybe it's a 2 and a 3, not a 23, but a 2 and a 3. If you think it was worth your while, if you think it was a waste of time, just give me a 0 and say honest, or give me a thumbs down. Then I know that I do not need to give this information, or I can't share this information. People, it's useless information. Okay, Leon, I'm getting a 2 from you, and Marius, I'm getting a 2, and Jennifer, a 2 plus a 3. That's the right way, because otherwise it was a 23, right, Jennifer? So I really appreciate that you guys are are with me, and that you find some value with that. Okay, and then also remember to subscribe even to this if you're not on it. Gordon, thanks for that too. And then share it with other people if you think that they can benefit from it, because I believe it's our duty to start helping each other. Thank you, Sigmund. Also, too, I really and truly appreciate that. And please let me know in the comment section, and even afterwards, if there's something specifically on the point game that you think that I can add value, or in terms of the method. Maybe I'm going to do a playlist just on the outline in order to show people how powerful this really is. And once you've got your point game, then you incorporate that in your 91 Perfect Day Challenge. And with that, I think I'm going to call it a day. And thank you so much for your time. And make sure that you watch the other playlist, and make sure that you attend and be in the community. The community is where the fun happens, especially on the PowerGoals community. There's a lot happening there, and I really appreciate your inputs. Jan, a 2, Sigmund also a 3. Right? Thank you so much. See you. Cheers.